All right, I have reviewed the guardian ad litem's report, and we are now ready to proceed. This is here today for a hearing to consider whether to extend the ex parte restraining order that was issued previously in this case. Like many of the other restraining orders that I signed, this restraining order did not strictly prohibit Ms. Boyd from having any contact with a minor child in this case, but rather limited her time with the child to be from Monday through Friday, from when the school is dismissed until 7 p.m., and then every other Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. It eliminated any overnight visitation. That is the restraining order that I'm here today to determine whether that should be extended or not. So if you would like to make any sort of opening statement, Ms. McGill, I'll be glad to hear it. So.
You'll recall, we had asked that, we stated at the first hearing that the child was still experiencing problems, and especially a lot of problems at school. And part of that we felt was because he wasn't getting his homework done and that sort of thing. By the time he got back to Dad's at 7 o'clock, it was really late for him to be doing homework. And so the way the situation is right now, it's father's position that the child's not able to be prepared for school properly, and that's part of his struggles. Based on I have also read the Ms. Smith's report and Mr. Boyd's psychological exam, which Ms. Smith has filed under seal with the court. Is the court aware of those being filed? Okay.
I have reviewed all of those as well. So.
Okay, I have not reviewed, I have not obtained, and I have not reviewed Ms. Boyd's psychological exam. We were made aware this morning that Ms. Smith, it's my understanding from Ms. Smith that she had, that Mrs. Boyd, and I'm sorry, Ms. Page had canceled a few appointments with her, and that she was finally able to see her over the weekend. And because of that, Ms. Smith had to rush and get this report in, and I appreciate that very much from her. I know that probably wasn't an easy task, but it's our understanding this morning that she had also forwarded this report to Ms. Page, and that Ms. Page, the child was in her possession at the time, and that Ms. Page read Ms. Smith's report to the child. And so when the child returned home last night, he was quite upset about that. And I just wanted to make the court aware of that. Obviously, we feel that's not appropriate for the child to be read any kind of reports or anything like that. If Your Honor would like me to proceed with proof, I will call Ms. Page to the stand. And I would ask for the rule, Your Honor.
Rule has been requested. That means anyone who is going to testify in this case other than the parties must go outside of the courtroom and remain outside of the courtroom until you are called to testify. You're not to discuss the testimony of any other witness with anyone pending your own testimony. Is the monitor out in the lobby is off? Just double check that to make sure. Ms. Page, do you wish to make an opening statement? If so, I'll be glad to hear from you if you'll come to the podium. So.
The things about with homework and everything, they keep stating that I do not do homework, and I have witnesses and proof that homework is done before anything else is done after school, every single time. And all three of the children that are in school know that that's the rule. That they get told as soon as they get pulled in the driveway that get your backpacks, they're doing homework. And that's how it's been. Used to last year, I would let him choose whether he wanted to do, because he gets the whole week and on Monday.
Excuse me for interrupting, you referred to all three children, but this is Aiden.
Yes, I'm just saying, he is one of the three children.
But you only have one child with with Mr. Boyd, correct? Mm-hmm.
And last year I let him choose, because every Monday they get their entire week's worth of homework for a certain class that day. That's the main homework, it's just math class usually. And So he chooses, last year I let him choose whether he wanted to do it each day individual, he wanted to separate it out into certain days, or if he wanted to cram it all into one day. Let him choose that last year. This year, I do not let him choose that. It's just you do your homework when you get out. And some days he only does one of the two for that day, and then the next day he does three. But every single, by Thursday afternoon, Wednesday afternoon to Thursday afternoon, his homework due on Friday is already done. We do
Right.
study. I've made flashcards to study for his test. He made a 92 on a test that they said he was not studying for.
Well, let me say, a lot of what you're saying is going to be in the form of testimony that you'll need to give us under oath. Right now, this is just your opportunity to tell me what is your position regarding this restraining order.
My position is I've talked to multiple people and I have witnesses that Aiden is not scared of me. He has been on multiple times over the past month, has hit me in the face with no fear of repercussions. He almost blacked my eye this past week with a lunchbox. He got in the car and just whacked me in the face with it and then laughed because he had no fear of repercussions because he's not going to get any, except for to tell him not to do it again.
All right. Then we're going to go ahead and proceed with the proof, so if you'll just have a seat at the table. Ms. McGill, you may call your first witness. Ms. Page, if you'll come around here, over here, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand and be placed under oath. Mr. Perkins, hand me that remote.
Ms. Page, you're aware that Dylan, or that there's been reports that Aiden, has reported that you have physically abused him?
Yes, and he also has done that to his school teachers and stuff. I've had to have meetings with the school saying that the school teachers were beating him with spatulas and all that before too.
Ms. Page, I'm going to pass forward the document.
All right.
Ms. Page, do you recognize this photograph?
I do from court last time.
Okay. Did you take this photograph?
I did not take this photograph.
Do you know where this photograph came from?
This photograph came from photographs that was taken of him, and he ended up going to the doctor. This is 2022. He had to go to the doctor because he had issues with school in kindergarten. In 2022, they put him on Adderall. And the teachers were having issues at Westmead Elementary School, is where you can find that file at. But the teachers were having issues with him self-harming, him throwing desks, him hurting other kids and stuff like that while on that medication. He was not emotionally stable. He had severe anxiety while on that medication and everything at just the age of 6. And he was self-harming. There was times where he was literally chewing the skin off of his own body. There were times where he was trying to stab himself with pencils. He was hitting himself with things.
Hold on. Who took this picture?
I did not take this picture. I do not know who took this picture. It was sent, I've seen this picture before. It was sent to me. I'm guessing either Dylan or Taya had sent it. His sister Taya had sent it. They were the ones living with us at the time, and it was sent to me.
Was this photograph, are you aware that it was on your iPad?
It was on my iPad. Only way it got on my iPad is through Snapchat. Somebody would have to download my Snapchat and pull it off of saved photos.
So someone sent it to you on Snapchat?
No, I did not have, I had it saved underneath those memories through iOS because I had switched phones already.
Well, how did you initially come to have this photograph on your iPad?
Somebody took it from whenever they came and went on there and drew out photos of me from 2019 that were pornographic videos on there, locked in there to put on my iPad that same day.
You have no idea who took this photograph?
It was either Dylan or Taya. They
And
were the
how do
only
you
ones
know
who was living there.
when this was then?
Because I can see the carpet in the background and the design, and I know where that place is.
Where is this
The
place?
apartment. It is in his room, around his room, in the apartment in Bellevue, Tennessee, on Hicks Road.
And was he living with you at the time?
He was living with all three of us at the time.
All three, who's all three of you?
Dylan and his sister lived with us as well at the time.
Okay. So you did not take this picture.
I did not take this picture.
Were you aware of these marks on his leg?
I took this photo actually to the doctor. The doctor was also aware of this mark, and they took him off Adderall and put him on Vyvanse.
Not my question. Were you aware of these marks on his backside?
I was.
At the
and that's why
time that they were there?
When I got the photo, yes, I became aware.
So before that, you weren't aware of these marks until you saw this photograph?
No, ma'am, I was working 2 jobs.
You were working 2 jobs. How old was Aiden in 2022?
He was 6.
Okay. He was showering by himself?
No, he still technically can shower by himself, but doesn't wash everything. He doesn't do his conditioner or shampoo correctly and stuff.
So you never saw these when you were showering him or bathing him?
This was new. You can look by the photo and see that that was a newer mark. No, I did
Ms.
not.
Page?
I did not see that before the photo. No, ma'am, because these are new marks on here, and you can tell it by the photo.
But somehow you know when this was taken, just
I
because
do.
of the
I
carpet.
do know when this is taken because of the carpet and because of the decor in there.
And you know what month it was taken?
I do not know what month it was taken. No, ma'am. But I do know that there is reports at the doctor's office where I had to take him in for self-harm, and with the reports from the school at his doctor's office.
You keep saying self-harm. It's your
I don't know.
claim that the child did
I don't
this
know
to
if he did
himself?
that. I do not know if he completely did that himself or if somebody did that to him. I don't know. But I do know that the photo was taken into the doctor along with the notes from the school, and they took him off Adderall, and he has not had issues with it since, until recently, since December.
So if he's told people that you've hit him with a hanger, that's what caused these notes, that's not true?
That's not true. He also told me that the teacher hit him with spatulas and hangers. We had meetings at the school for that as well, and the teachers had to talk me
Now-
down the fact that they were not doing that.
Will you agree with me that this looks like it could be a hanger?
I agree that does look like it could be a hanger.
Okay.
I agree.
And so is it your opinion that he could do that to himself, hit himself from behind with a hanger that hard to make those marks?
I don't think he could, but I mean, I don't foresee either of them doing it either,
So
though.
it didn't concern you to report this, if
I
it wasn't you, to report
Did
this?
report it to the doctors.
Do you have any evidence of
And-
that today?
I did not bring it with me today, no, but it is with the doctor's office.
Ronald,
That's why they changed his medication in the first place.
I'd ask that this be entered into as the next exhibit.
I think we'll mark it as Exhibit 1 for this hearing. So now, we have not made exhibits of those reports that had been filed under seal. So at this point, I'm just marking this as the first exhibit. I have reviewed these. Do you want to mark these psychologicals as an exhibit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then we will mark as Exhibit 2, Ms. Boyd's psychological evaluation. As Exhibit 3, Mr. Boyd's psychological evaluation. Aiden's psychological evaluation will be Exhibit 4. We have one that is a non-custodial family parenting permanency plan that will be marked as Exhibit 5.
Would I have some additional photographs to pass forward?
All right.
From 2000,
Your Honor, I want to warn the court, these are lewd photographs, to say the least.
from my locked files on Snapchat that he had to put in my code that only he and I know to get off.
Ms. Boyd, do you recognize these photographs?
Yes, they're from 2019.
And
When
they
we were not
were,
together, we were separated, and he actually had full custody of Aiden, temporary full custody of Aiden at the time, but he was not seeing him. He just dropped him off
Ms.
with my
Boyd,
mom.
please limit your,
Okay,
I'm going to ask questions, okay? And you recognize these photographs. They're from your iPad, is that correct?
They're from my Snapchat. My Snapchat was not on iPad. He had to download it and pull these off for that. And and his mother, and Terry Lynn has also, on recording on my phone, admitted to being the one to do that.
Okay, so Aiden uses this iPad, correct?
Aiden, they have that iPad, and Aiden, these photos were not on there until Thanksgiving of this year. They took it off that day, she admitted to it, but yes, he does use that iPad, and these were not on there when he did use them.
Okay.
I have it.
And so
There's
the
a
first
video.
picture, is that you? The picture with the, looks like a Batman tattoo?
That is me.
Is that you? Okay, and the next picture, is that actually a video?
That is a video from 2000, actually, that's from 2018.
And is that a video of you masturbating?
That's a video that was locked on my thing, and it's not illegal or anything to have that locked in a locked thing where you have to have a passcode for.
It's not my question. My question is that a video of you
Yes, and there's also
masturbating?
many videos of Dylan as well on there.
And the third set of photographs, is that also you in these photographs?
That is also me in those photographs, in a locked area where nobody can get to except for Dylan and Boyd and I.
But you admit that Aiden has access to this
He does not have
iPad.
access to this, no, he does not. These were not on the iPad until he took the iPad the day that he downed his mom, which I have, again, a recording of her admitting to it over the phone of being the one to do so, to download a Snapchat on my iPad.
So
when they
these are
took
in
it.
your Snapchat?
Those are locked in my Snapchat on only my eyes, so you have to put a code in to be able to see them, a passcode.
So you send them to people?
Now, that in 2018, they were sent to a significant other.
What year were you married?
I got married in 2016, we separated in 2017, our divorce started in 2018.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask that those be entered as the next exhibit.
Mark them as a collective exhibit. This would be 6.
Ms. Boyd, do you recognize the document I've passed forward?
It is a text strand, and it was a text strand pulled from my phone, from the iPad, by linking the iPad to my phone.
Okay, and is are these text messages from you to someone else?
They're to me from somebody else,
Okay, and who are they from?
a significant other at the time, the significant other.
Okay, and who is that significant other?
Name is Shelley,
Okay, Shelley what?
Arm Street.
Okay, and is that who you're living with now?
That is,
Okay, and so is she in the gray bubbles?
she is,
Okay, and you're in the green bubbles?
I am.
Okay, and do you know when or about, so this is November 25th. Is that when this text message, does that seem correct to you when this text message would have been sent?
Yes,
And you're in a sexual relationship with this woman, correct?
I am.
And her husband, correct?
I am.
And you're living with them now, correct?
I am.
Okay, and they have 2 children,
They have 3 children.
3 children? And those 3 children also live in the home?
They live in the home in separate rooms.
What do you mean they live in separate rooms?
They don't, have their own rooms.
They have their own
They have
bedrooms?
separate rooms. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the children have, how many bedrooms does the house have?
Has the master bedroom, the living room, and then there are 3 other rooms and 2 bathrooms.
How many bedrooms does the house
The
have?
house has 2 bedrooms. The toddler sleeps in a baby bed. The
The house has
3-year-old.
2 bedrooms, so
2
there's,
bedroom, the 2
three
bedrooms that are
adults.
the back room is going to be turned into a bedroom. There is another room that's not used, that is a bedroom, that is not used as a bedroom right now.
there's 3 adults living in this home and 3 children plus Aiden, depending.
Relevance, please, on our sleeping arrangements for the children that,
Your Honor, or Miss,
You
I
just-
asked the questions.
You need to just listen to the questions she asked. If you have an objection based on a legal basis for an objection, you can object to the question because you're representing yourself. But other than that, you must answer the questions rather than questioning why she's asking.
So my question was, there's 3 adults and at least 3 children full-time living in a 2-bedroom home, correct?
Objection, because what's the relevance to this?
The relevance is the living conditions that the child, that Aiden would be living in, Your Honor.
This court, because this is a pending complaint for divorce, and although it's here on a restraining order issue, it nonetheless is still a question of whether or not this court will adopt a parenting plan and who should be the primary residential parent for this child. So it won't just be a parenting plan issue, or it won't be just a restraining order issue. It'll be also a question of whether or not, or what plan I put forward as to how this child is going to be parented. Part of that is going to be the respective environments that exist in your home as well as the home of Mr. Boyd, because I have to determine what's in the best interest of your son. So the question that Ms. McGill is asking you, having to do with the sleeping arrangements, is a common question asked in these kinds of divorces. It has to do with how many people, you need to quit putting your hand up in the air if you're, I'm going to have you removed from the courtroom if you don't quit gesturing. The question becomes whether or not you have appropriate sleeping arrangements for all of the children, and that's a legitimate question, so you must answer that question. And I will overrule any objection.
Third room is being turned into a single room for Aiden. The one that was not used for a bedroom, it was just used for the storage and everything. It was only gonna, it's being turned into Aiden's bedroom. That is what we're in the process of doing. So that would be, Colin would have his own bedroom. Bella, the 12-year-old, will have her own bedroom. Aiden would have his own bedroom. And then we'll either put an add-on for the 3-year-old when she's able to go to her own room, or she will go with her sister Bella.
What room do you sleep in
I sleep in the master bedroom.
with the other 2
Yes, with,
parties? And the other 2 people are married, correct?
yes.
Okay. Do you use drugs, illegal drugs?
I do not use illegal drugs.
Okay. I'm going to pass forward this document. Honor, did I ask that last?
You have not moved it, but I will have it moved as Exhibit 7, is that right? What was 6? Again, those other photos. Okay.
I'm sorry, I gave you 4. There's just 1 for each.
Does this go with a prior one? Or is
No,
this a
Your
separate
Honor,
one?
this is a new one.
So Exhibit 7 is the chat, all right.
Do you recognize this document of
I
passport?
do. I also recognize seeing them on Dylan's phone as well, as he did the same thing.
Okay, so is this you texting with somebody named Aaron Tanner?
It is me texting with somebody named Aaron Tanner, and he also, because of this, had police at his house, and they only found legal THCA there because it's not illegal, it's all legal stuff.
Okay.
That you could buy at a vape shop.
If you go down, just beyond halfway down the page, on where it says November 20th. Is that you in the blue bubble saying, hey?
Yes, it's me in the blue
And he
bubble saying, "Hey."
responds, and then you say, do you have any more pot?
That's not what that says. That says wax, and it is THCA, it is legal, and it's Tennessee, and taxes get paid on it. You could go to the vape shop right now and get some, at the gas station and get some.
Well, then if that's the case, then why are you buying it from someone named Aaron Tanner and not going to the
Because
vape shop?
it's $20 for it there or $50 at the shop.
And so you say, awesome, can I get a quarter?
Yes, and he's actually the one that picked it up.
So you get a quarter, this is November 20th of this year, correct?
For 20th of this year.
Yeah.
It's not this year. We haven't
Oh,
hit
I'm sorry,
November
2025,
year.
2025. That's
And
my
we
fault.
weren't separated until November 27th.
So you said, can you get a quarter? Correct? And a quarter is not wax, is it?
Yes, it is.
So it's your testimony that you're buying legal,
Yes, and I also have
THC
photos of
from
it,
this person.
and I have photos of it, and I have recordings of it with DCS, that's what it is. They have tested it, showing that that's what it is, and they have photos of it, showing that that's what it is.
and I'm going to pass forward.
So are you making this the next exhibit?
What I'm going to do is make them a collective exhibit, Your Honor.
Same thing.
So if, again, just a little bit further than halfway down the page where it says Sunday, June 22nd, you say, "Hi, do you have any green?"
Mm-hmm.
How much is a quarter? $60. And that's you texting with him again, correct?
That is me texting with him again.
And is it your statement, do you maintain your statement that you're just
It's-
asking for legal?
I do, and that's
Marijuana.
what and there was a police document. He had gotten raided at his house, and all they couldn't do anything. All they found was THCA.
So,
They tested it and everything.
green, that's not wax, correct?
That is CBD marijuana. Because that's green, and that's a whole different thing. That's honey. It's a jar of honey, which is what's considered wax, like beeswax. And then that's green would be the actual green part.
Recognize the next document I've passed forward?
Yep. Again, all the same stuff.
Okay. And you say, and this is on, do you have any carts?
Mm-hmm. Which you can buy those at the gas station right now too,
What are
but really
carts?
expensive. It's vapes. Which
And-
were easy
and
for
this
Dylan to take to
person's-
work, which is why he'd like to take them to work, which is why I needed one of those actually.
And this person is some sort of authorized dealer of this stuff?
He has a friend that has a shop and gets the stuff that they're not putting out or that they change out from. And that's the reason why he was not arrested when the police raided him and found all of it.
Recognize these documents?
Again, same stuff.
Same stuff, and you're asking him for an eighth?
Same thing.
Then you say you'll take it?
Mhm.
You picked it up?
Sometimes I picked it up, sometimes Dylan picked it up. Sometimes Dylan was the one that messaged him asking for it.
You recognize this that I've just passed forward?
I did.
And so you're gonna meet your drug dealer at 3 o'clock?
And this was at Petro to meet Heather, and this one does not, if it was saying that it had the stuff and that was going to meet for that, then it would show what I was meeting for, and I'm not. Also, this was somebody that I knew's parents too, that I helped take care of help with their grandparents and everything with. So we'd meet up for other things than just that on many occasions.
So this is the same person, Aaron Tanner, that you've been buying this wax and legal THC from?
Legal,
Correct.
all of it's legal, yes, and it's been tested
And-
by DCS.
Okay, but you're gonna pick that up and then you're gonna head straight there to pick up Aiden, correct?
I did not pick that up here. It shows here, I told you it would show what I was picking up and asking for it, and it does not show that here, which means I did not go to pick that up at 3 o'clock.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm gonna ask that all those text messages be entered as the next exhibit.
Let them collect the exhibit. What is this now? 8.
Ms. Boyd, are you currently working?
I just started working last month.
Where do you work?
Braymont Kennels as a dog groomer.
Did you tell DCS that you were gonna get a job with an insurance company?
I was looking into getting a job with an insurance company because I had not heard back from any grooming jobs, and then I heard back from this grooming job, so I then no longer took that offer from the insurance company for a remote job and took a grooming job because it pays better and it's something that I was went to school for and that I know how to do.
How often do you work? What are your hours?
I work weekly and I work till I'm done. Like I usually no later than 2 p.m.,
What time do you start?
8 a.m.
Every day?
Every day, at least I'm off every other weekend for Aiden, and I'm off every other Monday and Thursday.
So you work Monday?
5 days a week,
Okay, and some weekends?
every other weekend.
Every other weekend, except that, and 5 days a week, except that every other week
The
you are.
weekend that I'm off, I'd work the entire 5 days. The weekend that Aiden's not with me, that I am at work, I am then off that Monday and Thursday.
Okay, and what is your hourly income?
I get paid commission. I don't have an hourly income. I get paid what I groom.
Okay, and so you are there from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, grooming dogs that entire time?
Every day until I'm done. I'm there from 8 a.m. till I'm done.
Okay, and what time are you normally done?
It depends on the day. Like, you don't know. Like, some days I'm done at 10. I walk out of there with $200 at 10 o'clock. Some days I walk out of there with $300 at 2 o'clock. You never know what you're going to get with grooming. It's kind of like,
And you think that pays better than a job at an
Well,
insurance company?
I can work 20 hours a week and make $1,500 for 2 weeks, make 40 hours in 2 weeks and make $1,500.
Have you done that yet?
I made $1,200 on my last paycheck, and I didn't even have 20 hours on a 2-week paycheck.
Are you paying rent where you live?
I will be,
Are you paying rent where you
not
live?
at this moment, because we've been saving up to get a lawyer.
Do you have a vehicle?
I do.
And are you making car payments?
There's no reason for car payments. It's already paid off.
Okay. And is that car in your name? Titled in your
And
name?
they are withholding the title, actually. I paid it off with my own money, and
My
Dylan
question
and his
is
mother
the
hold it.
car in your name?
it is not. It is in Dylan's grandfather's name because they are withholding the title.
And you drive that every day to work?
I will refuse to drive it until I get the title because I don't want any.
How do you get back and forth to work?
I use one of the Arm Street's vehicles back and forth to work.
Okay, so you do not have a working vehicle of your
I
own?
do have a working vehicle well, I do. I paid for it, and I have text messages from Terry saying that she acknowledges that I paid for it and that the title will be in my hand. And that was 3 months ago, and she still has yet to get to hand over the title.
It's drivable, but you don't drive it.
Yes.
Do you have insurance on it?
I do not drive it. It's not in my name. I can't put insurance on it.
Okay.
I don't have a title for it.
Okay.
But once I do have that and I
How-
have it registered, I will have insurance on it.
What vehicle do you use to pick Aiden up from school?
One of 3.
Of your boyfriends?
Sometimes a Ford Excursion, sometimes a Cadillac.
Who owns
sometimes
those vehicles?
The Arm Streets.
Okay, and the Armstreets are the couple that you live with and are engaged in a romantic relationship with, correct?
Correct.
So it's your testimony today that you have never hit or otherwise physically abused Aiden?
I have never physically, I've used to, before he got this autism diagnosis and I talked to a therapist and stuff and like how to like go with Aiden, used to get his butt popped or used to whip his butt. But I haven't done that in probably 2-3 years. Actually, the only person to whip his butt is, when he needs a butt whipping, is his father, because my hands, you can look at any x-rays and tell my hands are not capable of doing that. I can't even barely open and close scissors for work.
And has Aiden witnessed you and the Armstreets having romantic encounters, excuse me?
Maybe a pet kiss here and there and a hug and stuff, but no, he's never witnessed any of it, anything else.
So if he's reported that he's heard noises coming from the bedroom while you were in it with the Armstreets, that's not true?
The only way that would be is if he came home from school in the middle of the day at that time.
Does he ride the bus?
He does not ride the bus, and he does not come to their house on the bus ever.
Did you read Miss Smith's report to Aiden?
I did not read Miss Smith's report. I sat him down and I asked him why. After reading the report, I sat him down and I asked him, because they are walking around telling him to say all these things to people and coaching him to say it. And so I asked him, I said, why, if you don't feel these ways, why are you saying this to everybody? And he said, because if I just do what they say, it'll take their power away and they can't bother me with this anymore. Is what he said to me, and in tears.
Did you tell
And I asked
him,
him, why are you saying these things?
did you tell him that you were going to lose custody of him because of what what he told Ms. Smith?
I told him that,
Did you
because
tell-
I did not, no ma'am, I did not say that.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Go back and tell me again exactly what Aiden said was the reason why he said those things.
Because he's trying to take away their power of making him feel this way by just doing what they say.
And you think, how old is Aiden?
Aiden is 9 and autistic and very impressionable.
And you think that's an expression that he would normally use, that he was going to take away the power of his father and these other people?
That is not something that he would normally use. He also was told that they told him he had to say these things on God, and God wouldn't like it if he didn't say them. He has said this in front of multiple witnesses and screamed it out that they're forcing him and everything over and over again.
All right. Excuse me for interrupting, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Aiden met with Ms. Smith at your house, correct?
He did, and she only talked with him. She didn't talk with me like she did with Dylan and Terry. And because her entire statement is what Terry said, and none of it has anything to do with anything backed up. It's just her recollection of what she thinks happened in my life when she was nowhere around.
Okay.
None of it, all of it is very cited to what paternal mother, grandmother says, and none of it is backed up with any kind of proof, but I did bring the proof against it with me today.
Aiden has been wanting a snake, correct?
He has 4 snakes.
He's been wanting a python, correct?
He has always wanted them, yes.
Okay. Did you buy him a python within the last few days?
He went to the reptile expo and he was bought a ball python that he does not get to handle like that.
How much did that cost?
It was $100 and I did not pay for it.
It was $100? Do you have a receipt or anything for it?
Do not, it was at an expo. We don't have receipts there. They're vendors.
So if Aiden says it costs a lot more than that, is he lying?
He is lying, and I can show, I have other people that were there that saw the price, and I actually have a card that she came with in the car that shows her price on it.
How did you pay for it?
She was paid with cash, not by me. He was bought for us by the Armstreets, actually.
The Armstreets bought the snake. And what day did you buy that?
That would be Saturday, which is why Ms. Smith didn't want to do his interview on Saturday and why it originally got rescheduled in the first place, because he had an expo that day and she didn't want him to miss it.
Ms. Page, did you buy this snake for Aiden as a means to persuade him?
No.
To say that he wanted to come to your house, that,
I've been always wanting a cinnamon ball python and hadn't seen one in years. And they happen to have one, and I let Aiden choose which one of the 3 cinnamons he would like, and then I went and made my decision on it too, afterwards. This had nothing to do with any of that, but he did tell me, on the note of persuasion, he did tell me that his Chi-Chi bought him an oculist so that he would stay over there with her,
those
A
are my
VR.
questions, Your Honor.
because that's what he's been asking for.
Ms. Smith, do you have any questions?
Now, DCS was involved with your family, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and when did they become involved? What month?
And I believe it was October. Yes, it was October, because then that's when he started staying over, night times over at Terry Lynn's.
Okay, so in October, and you did have a psychological, correct? Did you, but you hadn't seen it till I sent it to you, correct?
Correct,
No, did you read it?
I did.
And I asked you yesterday about this, and one of the things is, the recommendations is therapy.
And I do have a therapy appointment this Thursday.
Okay, when did you begin therapy?
In I believe December, early January, December. I got the recommendation from them in December, and I'm not sure if I believe the first appointment was in beginning of January.
Okay. And so
I'm not
how
so good with
often do you
dates.
go?
I was going bi-weekly, and I've been looking into finding somebody that can do evenings and do more of a weekly thing.
And have you, I don't guess you've presented this psychological to your therapist?
Oh, I just got it today. Probably
Okay.
like yesterday.
Okay. And was there anything in the psychological with which you disagree?
I would honestly love to retake the psychological assessment and not underneath the strain and the stress and the pressure of Dylan Boyd and Terry Cottrell.
You would like to redo the
I would love to,
psychological?
because I feel so much more like I'm not under attack or weight all the time now. I'm feeling like I'm not having to carry everything myself anymore because with that distance from them. And I'm feeling so much more mentally safe and healthy ever since then.
So there are things with which you would disagree?
There are a few things in which I would disagree.
What would those be?
The anxiety one, I don't really have anxiety until outside of Dylan Boyd and Terry Cottrell and Jerry Donwood. Like they were, and in my therapy appointments, they have notified that it is the anxiety is a trauma response to their ongoing mental and emotional and verbal abuse over years and years.
So, and I understand you've had a traumatic childhood, correct?
I did.
Now, so you have consistently gone to therapy since the beginning of this year?
I missed a few appointments because of the ice. 2 of the appointments got missed because they rescheduled because of ice. And then afterwards, I had to find a new therapist because the therapist that I was seeing every single time, like the morning of my therapy appointments, I would get a text message from them saying that she wasn't able to meet and I'd have to reschedule. So that's why I was like, I'm just gonna find somebody in the evenings because it's easier to reschedule for evening appointments because I won't have to worry about scheduling around work. I'll be there already.
Okay.
So that's why I ended up with an appointment this Thursday with somebody in the evening.
So who is that?
I'm not sure whether this is maybe a new therapist. I'm not sure of this person yet.
Okay.
It's a lady, I know that.
And what group is she with?
Cornerstone
Cornerstone?
or Centerstone, Cornerstone right there in Dixon, right across from the
Okay,
fairgrounds.
Centerstone.
Centerstone, maybe, yeah.
So,
Get those mixed up.
so you haven't really been consistent since January with your
I'm trying to
therapy?
be consistent, yes, but I've continued to get rescheduled and canceled on
Okay.
by the same therapist.
Another recommendation was psychiatric treatment. Have you seen a psychiatrist?
I have before, and they wanted to put me on ADHD medication, but every time I'm on ADHD medication, I just feel like sick to my stomach, and like I lose a lot of weight, and I just don't feel like a person on ADHD medication.
Another recommendation was intensive therapeutic support, which would include either a partial hospitalization program or a co-occurring intensive outpatient program. Have you looked
That's
into
the reason,
that?
another reason why I would like to reschedule that, because I've talked to people and I've talked to the therapist about whether I need it. And the therapist thinks that I do not, and I've talked to a caseworker too on there who is a psychiatrist, who I saw after every therapy appointment and would go up there and see her. And she also said that she did not believe that I needed that. So
There's an objection. Sustain the objection.
hearsay.
It's you saying what someone else said.
That's all she stood up there and did.
But that would be something that you might be able to provide
I
proof
could
of.
provide proof for that. I can.
And you did have parenting classes,
I
correct?
did. I've taken parenting classes now twice because you have to do it during a divorce in the state of Tennessee. So I took them back in 2019 during our divorce, and I took one just back in 2025.
But I assume that you didn't provide that person with the psychological because you
I
didn't
didn't
have
have it until
I
yesterday.
understand. Now, apparently, I think you testified that you did talk with Aiden about my report, correct?
I didn't talk to him about the report. I asked him, after reading the report, I asked him why he's saying these things, which they're going around telling him to say these things. I didn't think, it might have been, I might be wrong, but I didn't think it was gonna be wrong for me to ask why he's saying it, since they're having him tell everybody. And last time we were in here, they were in the witness room, having him bombarding my witnesses with making him say things. He had to look at his feet. He would not look at Terry. He refused to look at anybody in the face when saying it. But later that afternoon, at dinner with that same person, he was in their lap, cuddling with them, laughing, playing, having games. But he is so stressed trying to recite what they're trying to get him to say over and over and over again, that he just has to stare at Terry and basically ask her for cues the entire time.
Did you, do you think that's appropriate, not just you, but for anyone, to talk with Aiden about this situation?
I did not think it was appropriate as long as they were doing it this entire time over and over again. So finally, yesterday, I just finally broke down and asked why he was doing it. Because they've been having him go around reciting him, saying, tell them about this, Aiden, tell them about this. And there is, if you guys have recordings of witness room from last time, there's a recording of her doing the same thing to him then. And so I was asking why, because I wanted to know why he was saying these things. And before it was a little too late to know, and he said because he was trying to get the power taken away from them by doing what they say, is what he said. He said it in front of other people. There were witnesses.
Said he made that statement in front of people.
He did.
Now, his teacher, Ms. Turner,
I do know her also, and I have her reports here on his IEP saying that he has actually downfalled since October going to Terry's. He had nothing but good reports or no comments until he went to Terry, started staying at Terry's, and then it's nothing but bad reports.
now, do you understand that Aiden is very bonded with his teacher?
I understand completely that he is bonded with her.
And she with him, do you think she's bonded with him?
I'm not sure. I don't know how much contact with Miss Turner. I know that she says that they are bonded.
So, and he confides in her, correct?
I'm not sure.
I believe you testified earlier that he told his teacher, which I assume was Ms. Turner, about some physical abuse.
Who testified?
I thought you had,
No, ma'am.
that he told the school.
Oh, no, I testified that I've had meetings with the school because he is saying that teachers are doing this to him. So he has confided with me that teachers are hurting him, in which I had a meeting at the school about it, and they told me that that's not the case, and Aiden admitted afterwards that that's not the case.
How would you describe Aiden's personality?
He is very sensitive and overly sympathetic and empathetic, especially something you wouldn't expect from a kid with ADHD and autism. He is a little enigma, very quirky and peculiar. Like, he's very specific on how he wants things done in a certain time, certain way. But the most amazing kid.
He, in my experience with him, he rarely smiles. Is that your experience?
Not at all. I have photos showing that otherwise. He's super happy, playing outside, making forts, goofing off with the other kids, making little forts.
What other kids?
The other kids that are in the household. There's a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 3-year-old.
But he was best friends with, I guess, the 9-year-old, Colin.
They still are. that's not at school because they see each other outside of school. And you wouldn't see a brother and two brothers hanging out all the time in school and outside the school. You wouldn't see two kids that see each other outside of school sitting there up, hanging out with each other in school like they did before either. They both go opposite directions. They're sitting on opposite ends of the rooms in all their classrooms, so they don't get any contact with each other. When they go outside, Aiden sits down, and recently, at the beginning of the year, it wasn't like that. The lady in the IEP meeting on Friday, they stated that as of November, December area to now, he has increased on his antisocialness. So he sits there and doesn't, like, people come up and ask him to play, and he won't play with them. And that was something that was not really an issue before. They had dropped all this stuff in his IEP at the end of last year, during his IEP meeting, because he was doing so much better and he was doing so good at the beginning of this year, and then dropped. But you couldn't expect two kids that play outside of school to sit there and be right up underneath each other at school as well. They also have other friends to play with. They're not arguing, they're not fighting at school. They're not arguing, they're not fighting at the house. I have video photos and stuff of them actually hanging out and having fun at the house.
So the teachers didn't discuss with you that Aiden now, since Colin's gone, they're not friends anymore, doesn't have any friends?
The teachers and little Colin has actually stated their concern with the fact of Aiden's recent anti-socialism.
So you say that's recent?
Is recently started over the past few months, because they took that off his IEP at the end of last year and everything, because he was doing so good, making friends, chit-chatting like he was just one of the other guys, like he didn't have atypical autism.
Okay, well, thank you.
Recross, redirect whether.
Yes.
And is he still at counseling at school?
I don't know, they took over that. I made him whenever his school therapist was no longer going to be at the school, I made him an appointment at Centerstone for a therapist to substitute that until they got another one for school. And Harry Lynn actually called, canceled that appointment, and rescheduled another one, and then never took him to it.
At some point, did you cancel his counseling with at school?
She asked if he wanted, at the end of the summer, she said, do you want to start Aiden's therapy back up? I asked Aiden, I said, do you want to talk to Miss Nash this year once a week, or do you want to see how it goes? He said, I'd like to see how it goes. So I told her, and I have text messages where I told her Aiden wants to see how it goes, and then, but can we add it if he needs it or anything, if he starts falling down at school again or socially? And she said yes. So, and I can produce the text messages for that as well. And then I also have messages where I asked her to start therapy back up again for him as well this past year.
Do you recognize this?
I do. He has been getting, that's the reason why I didn't want him on the bus anymore. And Terry wanted to fight for him to stay on the bus. She said it was a good social thing for him, but every time he's getting off the bus saying he doesn't want to get on the bus, he doesn't want to ride the bus anymore, saying that kids are beating on him, beating him up.
Hold on one second.
And there was actually a report from school where these kids did beat him
Hold
up.
on one second. Is this a text message between you and the school therapist, counselor?
I'm not sure whose number that is. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't memorize numbers, but it looks like something
You remembered?
this is, and then the next text message to me, which they neglected to actually add that in, is me saying, telling her that I sent her the email already about starting it up. But that they decided, they just coincidentally decided to cut that one off of this photo of my response to her about me already sending her an email about starting it back up and asking to start it back up in that text message as well.
Your Honor, I don't need to enter that.
We'll hand that back. You may. Ms. Smith, anything further? Thank you, Ms. Page. You may stand down. We're going to give you an opportunity when you're putting on your proof to resume testifying if you wish. It may make more sense for you to go ahead and do it, though, while you're here and under oath. Do you want to testify about any part of this proceeding today, other than what you've already said?
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly what that means.
Well, what that means is that you understand I'm here today to put down a parenting plan that's going to determine who is the primary residential parent for your son and what arrangements you each have as far as the split of time between you and Mr. Boyd, the father. So this is your opportunity as your lawyer. If you had a lawyer, they would put you on the stand to ask you questions that they felt like would demonstrate to the court why you know, whatever it is that you want me to do. So I guess what do you want me to do regarding your son?
I do not want to take custody away from father at all. Like in 2022, for his 6th birthday, he asked for mom and dad to get back together. So he begged me for it. And because he never got to see his dad and liked to see his dad. So I did that, even though I knew I wasn't gonna be happy doing it. I did it anyways. And then around October, November of this year, it was actually November 13th of this past year, he was making plans, and for a month before that, and then at that day specifically, we were walking and he was making plans with all kinds of people on how he was gonna build him and mom a house so that dad could just go live with his Chi-Chi and mom and dad could be separated, and him and mom would go live somewhere else, and dad could like come and visit sometimes if he wanted to, and all this. Like even Aiden was concerned about the relationship and the dynamic between his father and how his father was absent even though he was there and everything, and how his father asking why dad hurts me at night and stuff. And also, I have things that show where they're talking about me doing legal drugs that are legal, marijuana and CBDs and stuff for sleep and everything. I have videos and I have things of Dylan actually doing mushrooms and saying the reason why he couldn't watch Aiden when one night a month was because he was too busy trying to get high.
So are you wanting to introduce, what exactly is it you're referring to? Are those photographs
These
of
are
text messages?
these are photographs of text messages that I have 2 copies of for
Right.
each.
Then you need to hand that to the bailiff. He's going to show Ms. McGill what you have, and Ms. Smith, allow them to review that, and then I'll consider whether or not to make those an exhibit. If I understood you correctly, when you were testifying about those text messages between you and this individual that's been referred to as your drug dealer, that individual, you're buying, according to you, from Mr. Tanner, legal THC products?
Yes, and they,
And the
with this
reason-
report, they had police raid his house, and the police couldn't even arrest him because all of it was legal.
When did the raid occur?
I believe end of January, beginning of February. I don't know the exact date. I'm not
Why
good
do
with
you
dates.
say they had the police raided?
Because the police that stayed there was showing him the reports from text messages that they sent in to the police from my phone.
All right.
The police
And-
officers told him that.
And the reason that you're saying that you are using, why are you using these drugs to begin with, legal or illegal?
I have ADHD, and sometimes I can't go to sleep. Like I got things going on in my head, like thinking about everything I'm gonna do the next day and all the stuff that I have to get done, like homework that needs to be done, schoolwork work that needs to get done, dogs that need to be groomed. And so it's either the doctors wanted to prescribe me sleep meds. I did take the trial of the sleep meds, but I was almost like it was a drug that completely impaired you. Like I was almost like I was drunk, and I don't drink, so I was not okay with that. And I I've been drunk once when I was a teenager, and that was it. That was all for me. I was done. And so this medicine making it feel the same way, I wasn't for it. And then I had issues waking up the next morning as well with it. It was drogginess, oversleeping my alarm and stuff. So this just helps me go to sleep like a little. It's was actually recommended to me by the doctor.
Doc,
I'm a primary care doctor, and
And who is
Centerville
your-
recommended that I try CBDs.
who
and
is,
stuff.
what is the name of your primary care doctor?
She's no longer my primary care doctor. She doesn't work there anymore, but it was at St. Thomas in Centerville.
You don't remember the name of the doctor that
No,
told you to
this
do
was probably 9 years ago, that she recommended that.
All right. Next question I have for you is my understanding is, and these are the documents you want to introduce, correct? You indicated that, and I want to make clear, if I'm understanding correctly, you are involved in a relationship with this other couple, this man and this woman, and it is a sexual relationship. The three of you are living together. Do you sleep in the same bedroom, the three of you?
Yes, which is,
And right or wrong, whether I agree or disagree with that, but is your son aware of that relationship?
just as where he was with his cousin, with his aunt. When his sister Taya lived with us, she was also in a throuple. She had a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and that was not an issue then. He knew all about it. She'd tell stories about it and everything when he was 6 years old. And all he knows about this is that mom has a boyfriend and mom has a girlfriend. He sees them, he plays with them, they go to the park together, he enjoys time spent there. That's all he knows. He doesn't know any details or anything because he is a 9-year-old boy.
You had these two text message photos that you wanted to introduce. One is from April 19th. It doesn't show what year. Can you tell me what year this was?
It'll show a different year if it wasn't in the past 12 months. So it was,
What are
it
you
would have been
saying?
2025.
What are you saying that these documents represent?
They're trying to say that I was using drugs and everything, and that Dylan wasn't, and that shows representation that Dylan was the reason why Dylan couldn't watch his son for one night a month was because he was too busy trying to get high.
All right.
And this was just this past year.
So this is between you and Dylan? Mm-hmm. Okay. It basically says that, when are you coming home? Hi, I'm not sure yet. Aunt Karen and Mona go back to New Jersey. We're supposed to go see them today. And his response was, okay, let's do this afternoon because me and Hammy, who is Hammy?
His best friend.
Me and Hammy are about to microdose some mushrooms from Marley's. So by that time, I'll be sobered up enough to go visit. And you said, never mind, like I said, I will just go. I'm not going to go there at 10 o'clock at night the day before Easter. Then the next one is in May. And what does this one on May show?
It's showing where he was supposed to be, for months, we had a plan for us to go to a little girly concert with my best friend. And he, for like 3-4 months, had already been planned. And he had agreed to watch Aiden that night. And, he lived in the same household with him. But then he never wasn't at the house. He was with his friend doing drugs instead.
All right, and this one starts on May 22nd at 9:20 p.m. And it says, why are you not going home? You have the responsibility of Aiden one night in months. We had planned for 3 months, Dylan. Why couldn't you have just hung with Hammy tomorrow after work instead of the one day I relied on you? Your response was, his response was, I just wanted to get high real quick. We're about to go. Then on Friday, May 23rd, the next day, you said there was weed at the house, ! About when will you be off? And I need you to let me know like an hour or so before you get off so I can go to get Connor's ducks from Dixon and your mail from your mom's before I get you from work. Okay. He says, okay, baby, I'll look once I finish this area. I love you. All right, and you want to make those an exhibit. Mark them as exhibit, collected next in order. You may. but we're going to let her finish what she has to say, then you can cross-examine her. But she's putting on her proof at this point in time. What else anything else that you want me to consider in your case?
Dylan's admitting to his abuse and stress that he was given it through text message, talking about how,
Do you have more text message photos you wish to introduce? They need to be shown to the bailiff, and the bailiff needs to show them to the opposing counsel.
all go together in order.
If you have others that you intend to introduce, let's just show them all collectively, and then they can review them before we introduce them.
There's this one where he left me in 37-degree weather in a parking lot at Dollar General for hours.
Just show them to them, and then we'll let you explain what they are.
This goes to the end of that other one, the first one, so I'm so sorry. I dropped it. And photo of my back after he forced sex on me in the middle of the night while our son was 3 feet away. And photos. Proof right here on Miss Smith's account saying that about the ghosts and about being evicted. This is the person that we lived in the house with at the time. His name is Derek Whedon. I was in a relationship with him for like 3 years while we were separated, and he was with another lady named Summer. And showing where she was saying that there was, Aiden saw ghosts because I said that ghosts were going to attack him because we were getting evicted. And this is proof that that never happened, and that there was no sign for 4 years of no sign of any abuse towards Aiden with witnesses. And that's an ex who you would normally think wouldn't have your back, but is willing to say the truth. Here, photos of Aiden playing and happy and smiling with us and playing with the kid that apparently he's not friends with, when they just sit there and play Roblox together and play outside and make forts together. And
All right, I'm going to take a recess and step off. Anything that
would you like me to
have,
give you the second copy to all
Just wait till I'm
those?
talking, and you just stop talking when I'm talking. Anything that you have that you intend to introduce in this hearing in the way of a document, you need to just show it to them so that we can speed up this process. And you don't have to explain to me what it is, but you just need to, you can step off the witness stand, go to the table, show them these documents so that when we come back, we can streamline this process. We'll stand a recess for, I guess, about 15 minutes, and then we'll come back.
All rise. Court is in recess.